Today we're going to talk about the bare facts of what you've got to face, the reality you've got to face if you really want to become a professional race driver and remain a professional race driver. It's a tough business, and I want to make sure you're ready for it.
Ain't afraid to bare my soul, ain't afraid to walk on coals. I ain't gonna tell no lies, I ain't gonna apologize. Can't stop me now, can't stop me now. I'm just doing what I do.
This is Enzo with another Race Driver Coach Show episode before I travel to Imola. We're going to Imola this week, so it's an early morning one, this one. But I'm going to just bring some negativity into your life. You know me, I usually bring positivity. You can do this. You have a dream and you go for it. You make sure you got the skills in place and you do what you need to do, and then it should deliver what you deserve. But there's a reality check needed here. Motorsport, and this is a rule that I want you to have. If you have certain set beliefs, ones that help you progress, it's important to have them digested and you live by them. And this is one of them. Motorsport does not give a damn about you. It doesn't care. It doesn't care if you're super fast but you haven't got the money to show it. It doesn't care if you've won championships in the past but you've broken your back and you can no longer drive. It just disregards all these things. It doesn't care if you want it more than most drivers. If you wake up and you dream about motorsport and it's in there and it's all you care about, it doesn't care. It's like a mistress. It's like you're in a relationship with somebody who you have to give so much love to, but she only gives a tiny bit of love back now and then. She only gives love back when you properly prove that you are value to her. And as soon as you stop creating that value, you're out. Motorsport is this. Life is this. The hard truth is that it only values you if you create value for it. If you do have championship result wins and it can see that that is valuable and it can put you into its team. It only values you if you have the hard cash to race in the car. And this, when I was driving, and I see it now and then when I speak to team managers saying, I've got this driver, I know of this driver, brilliant driver, you should sign that driver up. And quite often, the team manager or someone will say, how talented is that driver? And if you're listening on the podcast, when I said the word talented then, I rubbed my fingers together as if to say, how much money has that driver got? And that's not the team being nasty. They don't really want the sport to be like this, but they need somebody to pay for the race seat in order for them to give it to that driver. They can't just magic money up and run the car for you just because you're a good kid or you have good results, unless they've got lots of cash themselves. So if you want to get anywhere in this sport, you've got to understand that first of all, it does not give a damn about your goals and your dreams and your desires. Instead, it has to look at you. And when I say it could be a team, it could be a manufacturer, it could be anybody in the sport to give you a chance. That's that's the part that doesn't really care about you because there's hundreds of drivers, there's the next one coming. But you've got to stand out with your results and you've got to have the financial support in order to climb up the ladder or to get their attention. Because if you want to enter a championship and you don't have the cash to enter it, you're not going to enter it. Unless you pulled some kind of deal out that's got somebody else to pay for it for you. So it really comes down, when you're in the beginning of the career, it comes down to how well you can earn cash. How well you can think like a business person and sell your way into a car. Sell your way into attracting some kind of money, a financial backing from a company or somebody you know in order to pay for that drive. So when you write to me and you say, I have a dream of getting to F1, let's just forget F1 for now and bring it closer and think to yourself, how can I get into a car this season? Step one, right? Just one step at a time. How can I get into a car? It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's the worst championship in the world that no one ever sees, but it costs, it's manageable. You could actually gather the money up to do it. Then just do that first. and then just win that first. And then when you get towards the end of that first year, then you start to look up and say, okay, what's next? How can I get the money for that? You can start getting the money from it at the start of the championship, obviously, but you've got to think one step at a time. Otherwise, if you start to think, I need F1, I need to enter F4, which is like over $250,000 to enter in F4, and I'm just going to get a sponsor. Believe me, there's not many companies out there that are going to give you $250,000 to go racing. You can't add enough value to them in order to them to pay you that much. So just bring it down to understanding that, first of all, and I'm repeating myself, but motorsport doesn't give a damn about you unless you can pay it or win for it. And even if you're just winning for it, it's still got to get some money from somewhere to pay for the drive. These are just the facts of motorsport. It's one of the most expensive sports on the planet. And if you want to play, you've got to pay. So how are you going to do it? When I spoke to Jesse the other week, you heard him say, well, I sent out over 1,000, and it might be exaggeration, but I don't know. I did the same. So many proposals, brochures, sponsor me, do this, look what I can do for your company, and you hardly get any answers back. And if you do get answers back, probably like 1%, 1 in every 100, it's a no. Because you're offering them something that probably isn't matched with the price you're asking, and it looks like sponsorship. Sponsorship means donation to most companies. You're not going there and providing them with a very good marketing strategy that will definitely earn them more customers. Instead, you're saying, I'm a driver, and how do you fancy being on the side of the car? No company fancies that, especially to someone in grassroots. So you've got to think to yourself, like Jesse did, how can I earn money? Can I set up a business that could earn money that then I could spend on racing? Can I look at other drivers that are high profile, approach them, ask them if I can find sponsorship for them, and then get a commission from that sponsorship? Or teams. You've got to think like an entrepreneur if you do not have the money. You've got to travel the world. You've got to, if you're in a certain country where there is no motorsport, then you go to somewhere where there is. That's another question I get a lot. Enzo, how can I become a race driver and reach these goals if I live in whatever country that has no racing? Then you move to somewhere that has. It's, again, it doesn't care about you personally, that it's a shame that you live in that country and it's a shame you're over there and you got no money. It doesn't care. And that's not being nasty, that's just the fact of life. Life doesn't care. If you want to be a successful film star or, entrepreneur, it doesn't care at your beginnings. It only takes what you're doing now, your actions and your results. Then it might give you some love. But then you still need some luck. You know, you could have an accident that completely wipes you out. Hopefully not health-wise, but I mean money-wise. And then you can't race anymore. It doesn't take 1 second to think about what you're going through. That is motorsport. All the teams in it need to earn money to run the car. So they're like 1 year at a time. How many clients, which means drivers? How many drivers can they get in the cars? Right, it's full. This year's done. Next year, they've got to find more drivers. They're not taking from the sport, they're providing, but still it's a very short-term goal that they've got in mind. I need to get drivers in that can pay the bills, that can pay to run the car. And you, as a driver, have to provide that. That's how the sport runs. It's not like football, where you earn your way into a team. If you do really well, you stay on the team and then you can get promoted and become Premier League. It's not like that. It's how do I pay to get in the car? Your head should be there a lot more. Not going to the gym and spending 2 hours a day there. 2 hours a day. That'd be great if you did. Not just sitting on the simulator, but thinking, how can I get the cash to get in that car? And if you're aiming for a car that costs too much money, then look for something that's cheaper. If you have to spend the next 2 years earning cash, saving up for a championship that is affordable, then do it. Because at least you'll be racing in 2 years' time instead of, again, being in your room just wishing to be a driver. The hard facts are, get the cash or create some amazing value for somebody else so they let you in their car. This is your goal. This is your task for the rest of the year and for the rest of your life, really. You've always got to create value and results in order to be in a seat. It's just how the sport runs. It's how life runs. Create value and it may just give you some love back. That's all for now. Speak to you next time.
Can't stop.